Hey everybody. So there's this story going around on the internet. It's kind of been passed around. We're getting in the late stages of this story, so it's not something that's breaking news by any means, and it's kind of an old topic that's going away. But I wanna mention it a little bit in the form of in the form of understanding how accolades work and appreciation works. So Cam Newton is walking around Bank of America Stadium or whatever Panthers office is there with his son. They're doing whatever. And his son asks, well, Dad, where's your picture? Because they see these pictures and it's like, okay, here's Christian McCaffrey, or here's this great player, here's Sam Mills, Kevin Green, Jake Delhomme, or whatever players they have on the walls. I don't know. And Cam Newton's just there. And Cam was getting offended, and so they started asking questions. They're like, "Well, we don't know if you're really retired yet." He's like, "Well, I'm never going to retire." And he goes, "But I know I played my last game." And it kind of is a cop out answer. Now, there's a lot to consider, there's a lot to unpack here. So let me see if I could bring up some points to maybe consider some things here. First of all, let's talk about Cam and his career. He's had a long career in the NFL, especially for the NFL, especially for the kind of player Cam Newton was playing to be. Really long career. And he's had a great career. He's been a Hall of Famer. There's very few guys I would say that are historically more talented than Cam Newton. Um, and he's delivered a lot. So when you talk about Cam Newton, you're not just talking about the 2015 season that everybody knows, and they kind of want to gloss over how great that season was because they're like, he only had one good year. Oh, really? Was that when he went 12 and 4 in 2013, or 11 and 5 in 2017, or you really only thinking about his Rookie of the Year campaign, his massive growth in 2012? I mean, this guy was getting better and better through the 2015 season. That's when he hit his peak. In 2016, he got hurt after a headhunting game in week one, and he was already getting banged up prior to that. This guy was doing everything you could to get a quarterback hurt, and it took 4 years. It took until his fourth season. It took 3 years. He went through three full seasons before he missed a single game. His fourth season, he only missed two games. His fifth season, he missed it. He didn't miss any games. So in 5 years, this guy misses only two games as an NFL quarterback that you got to hit hard. And he did. He got lit up. And when he called out the referees for not treating him, letting him get hit more than most normal quarterbacks get hit, it tells you what kind of player this guy was. And he only misses two games. So you talk about him being a crybaby. He may have been, but that is one tough player. He's bulldozing through players. He's blocking for his running backs. He's doing everything you're not supposed to do. And he's blasting down the field. He's doing flips over defensive players. I mean, this guy's a menace for 5 years. His sixth season, he has a little bit of a highlight reel. His seventh season, he's got an incredible highlight reel. He's and his eighth season, his first 8 games, he was great. Missed almost the entire season, his ninth season. His 10th season, he's with the Patriots in 2020. His 11th season, he has one comeback great game with the Cardinals, and then Even though the Panthers and Cam Newton needed each other, they didn't agree to extend their relationship on the field, which was a mistake. Both parties needed each other. So, that Cam had a long career. He was a great player. No doubt about it. You want to put his statue in front of the stadium? I'm all for it. You want to put his picture on every wall? Go for it. He deserves to be celebrated. But let's remember something right now. Cam, how much celebration how much attention did Ted Ginn get and not receive? Did Ted Ginn earn and not receive? How much celebration? How many times did Greg Olson come through for you and he didn't get the credit he deserved? How many times did D'Angelo Williams not get the credit he deserved? It's a long list of players in Panthers history that just did not get celebrated, and they put everything into the team. Whether it's the Toldos or Mike Tolbert, or it's Brad Hoover, or it's, I mean, just so many guys in the NFL that don't get the credit they deserve. And outside the NFL, it's even bigger. There's so many guys they don't get multi-million dollar contracts, but man, they earn it. I work with them. I worked in the past at so many places with and for them. So instead of worrying about being appreciated, I think it's more important to try to remember to be appreciative, especially of the little bit of appreciation you get. And by the way, there's no way on this earth anybody can appreciate or be anybody can as much as we need to be appreciative for. No way we can be thankful for every blessing we get in life. And there's no way we can be appreciated for everything we do for others. God made us on this planet and cared for us long before we were ever born and put up with all the negativity because he knew how special we were. He knew how much we would do for others. We can't be thanked enough. Even the worst person in the world cannot be thanked enough for how much they help others and how important they are. It's never going to happen. And you could say, oh, well, we deserve to be, this or that. Listen, it's not going to happen. You're not going to ever appreciate yourself as much as you deserve to be appreciated. You're not going to appreciate how much you've been blessed as much as you have been blessed by others. You're not going to appreciate others enough. You're not going to, there's just not enough you can do in either direction. And there's not enough others can do to explain to you how important you are and how much you have helped others and what you have done and what others have done just because you've been able to help them. So just work on being appreciative instead of working on being appreciated. Another angle to look at it. That's the most important lesson out of it. Another lesson to look at it is this, Cam. You may walk into a room and people are throwing down olive branches and pine branches and, you know, whatever offerings of peace. They could throw rose petals every time you walk into a room. But do you ever consider the fact that maybe they're throwing that stuff down when you walk into a room? Not to make your feet comfortable, but to hide the eggshells they're walking on when you're in that room? Because that certainly happens a lot to a lot of people. I'm not saying to you specifically, I'm not saying Cam Newton specifically, But there, but it is possible that people feel uncomfortable when Cam Newton walks into a room, not just because of the way he dresses. But you're talking about a guy when before he went returned to the Carolina Panthers in the 2020s, he said, "There's not 32 NFL quarterbacks better than me." Not exact. I mean, if I'm bringing an older quarterback onto my team, I expect him to be a mentor. That's not what I want to hear a mentor say. If I'm bringing a quarterback in to be a mentor, so you got you gotta read the room. Yeah, you, you, and maybe you're not walking. Maybe they're not. There are no eggshells they're walking on. Maybe I'm totally, but it does seem like there's possibly some reasons why people are uncomfortable with you in this situation, and just be humble enough to accept the fact that maybe you need to change some things. I've around the same time period, actually beforehand, um, I've had to take a long, and I still do. I've got to take a long, hard look at myself in the mirror and say that maybe there were some situations that have made people uncomfortable, even though that was not at all my intention, and I did not intend to have any effect on them whatsoever. Doesn't matter. There's just a lot of things that I've had to change in my life because of the way I've approached other people. And considering those things has made me kind of more aware of how I am around other people, which is why I'm bringing up this lesson is that, okay, I may not be able to remove all the eggshells people are walking on around me, but maybe I can change my reputation as somebody who makes people nervous. Or maybe I can change my reputation as somebody who maybe hasn't presented as kind of an approach as I need to bring to the table. It's just some things just to think about from a humbling perspective as you go forward. You say, "Oh, I'm not being appreciated." Yeah, well, we never are. Hard workers are not appreciated. They're constantly mocked. They are stressed. They are scolded for being stressed. They're scolded for working too hard. They are scolded for being too obsessed with their work, and they're weird. They're unrelatable. They're awkward. It's a price you pay for hard work. And then they get loved. They're told they deserve it. They get appreciated just enough to draw the attention of somebody who wants to tear them apart. And that's where you need God. Because when all of that happens, it's only God who's going to save you from belief in that it's all not worth it. And if you don't know how much others have already done for you, it's not worth it. If you don't know how much people don't know how to say thank you, if you don't know how much people depend on you, and if you don't know what others are going through, what their emotions are like, and what is going through their minds, and what stresses and concerns they have, if you don't know how much people care about you, how much has already been done for you, then yeah, it's not going to feel like it's worth it. But don't worry then about what you don't know. Don't worry about what you can't control. You do your hard work. You give in that love. You make those sacrifices. And you get appreciated. Great. If you don't, it doesn't matter if you don't get appreciated this time. Keep going with it. Keep being somebody who builds on your character. Keep proving that you're somebody who can continue a life of high character because it's going to be that persistence that gets appreciated. It's going to be those constant number of times. Not every time. It's not going to be every time that gets appreciated. It's going to be the collection of times that you get it right, that you stay steadfast, that you stay on the right track. All right. God bless you. Have a good night.